Here at the Monster Mile, A.J. Allmendinger's led more laps today than he has his entire Cup career, and his crew did the job for him, getting him back out in front. His lead when he came in versus when he came out. And Andy, you mentioned it. He could play a big spoiler role today.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? He would love that, I'm sure. See right there, 3.5 seconds before the pit stop. And after the pit stop, this is a current 5.5 deficit that that we see that Martin Truex has. So team doing a really good job on pit road.
Let's reset it for you. Behind Allmendinger and Truex, it's Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, then Kyle Busch, Juan Pablo Montoya, Denny Hamlin 7th, Kenseth 8th, Edwards 9th, and Biffle rounding out your top 10. We've got a total right now of 19 cars on the lead lap. And let's get an update on the 48 car who's in third place. Let's listen in on the radio.
The car gets a lot more responsive after 3 or 4 laps. First few laps, it just doesn't do much right.
10-4, man. We really got to try to work traffic a little bit faster, man.
Thought I was doing a good job this time.
Negative on the good job there. No, they're going through traffic still about 2 tenths faster lap than we are. The 2 cars need a second on us here.
You get an idea that's something that Jimmy and Chad had talked about. Remember what I said at the beginning of this broadcast? Jimmy's words were, we've got to be spot on in every way. Apparently that means working traffic as well.
Well, I mean, and they're talking about just a tenth of a second. How about you like to be Tony Stewart right now? Let's update you on him. He's 31st, 2 laps down. The speeding penalty, deadly. And there he is right there, and you can see he's in 31st position. Total of 7 cars are either off track or behind the wall. Let's go to speeds at the line next time by. Let's find out after the pit stops who really has the fastest car out there right now. Here comes our race leader.
Cars get kind of strung out after you make a green flag stop, so it's hard to tell really who is the best car. This is the best way to look at it.
And remember, he's got this 6-second lead. There it is. And Truex is quicker. Now Johnson.
I think Chad must have got Jimmy's attention. About the last 3 laps, he's been faster than the leader has.
Denny Hamlin.
And look at Edwards.
Remember, we told you 19 cars on the lead lap. There's Ryan Newman, and here comes our race leader again. So this one far from over, but right now, A.J. Allmendinger, you realize this is the most laps the 43 car has led since Bobby Hamilton led 331 at Martinsville back in 1996.
Well, we've been seeing a lot of improvement with this race team, and I think it all started whenever they all got on board. You can see the car a little bit loose right there. But they all got on board of what they were going to do next year. I think that you get that kind of situation, then it really helps everybody to know what they're looking for and what they can do as a team, Vince.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's one of the things AJ's talked about as this team has started to become a little bit more solidified. They're becoming more familiar with the Ford program. You know, some of those things that we talked about earlier, the little things that are starting to come together now that end up making what we see as a big difference. But right now, AJ says the car is a little less likable than he's had earlier in the race. Feels like it's much looser. It doesn't feel like he's got near the grip he had early on. He definitely does not like it, at least as compared to what he's had the first couple of stints.
Yeah, and you talk about that. This racetrack is going to continue to change, and each set of tires that you put on there, Andy, makes the car a little different, so he's just going to have to be patient here.
Well, it's all kind of relative, too. He's had Mark Martin right on his bumper since he came out of the pits, and Mark's got a fast car. He had to start in the back, and he found himself a lap down, but if you look at his lead, it's still 6 seconds over the second-place car, so he's doing pretty well against who he's racing, and just looking at Mark Martin going by makes him think his car's not very good. Man, look at that 42 car get sideways.
Yeah, Montoya's climbing up the track as well. Looks a little bit like Allmendinger's car as far as the loose condition, and 17 and Matt Kenseth trying to take advantage, and there's just a few laps ago. Whoa.
Yeah. I'd seen him climbing the banking more and more, but that's getting out of the groove, and you can see just throwing up those marbles, which are little pieces of rubber up there. Not a place that you want to tread very often. Another thing that I saw here is we talk about this 17 car. They report he was a little bit loose. They get him tightened up a little bit. Pit crew once again did a fantastic job. Get him falling outside of the top 10. Now he's back up in the 8th.
He hasn't won a race since last year, and I know he's very hungry. And if he's going to win a race this year, this is probably his best track of what we have left.
Well, there you see 2 of the Roush Fenway Racing drivers. You got Matt Kenseth, and then the 99, of course, of Carl Edwards. 3 of the top 4 drivers in points earned here at Dover in the last 10 races are from Roush Fenway Racing. They have done well here, and here comes the 99 of Edwards underneath Juan Pablo Montoya. So Montoya, if Edwards can complete the pass, he'll be bumped back now to the 9th position. Move Edwards up to 8th. Clint Boyer trying to take over a spot from Jamie McMurray. Boyer 15th, McMurray 14th. And since the restart, Jamie's been the biggest mover. He's picked up 9 positions. To see Harvick 7th.
Well, we've made a green flag pit stop now since the last restart. He took tires when some other cars didn't. He gained a lot of spots on that green flag run. Now that he's kind of stabilized on the same tires as everybody else, you see some of these good cars now going back by him. Those 2 Childress cars just getting by.
All right, let's check in on Denny Hamlin. He's now currently running in the 6th position, doing what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and we were wondering how would he handle this day at a place that's kind of been his nemesis. He's doing exactly what he needs to. He's sitting in the 6th spot right now. He's really not close to Kyle Busch. He's about 3 seconds behind him, who is his teammate up in the 5th spot. But Matt Kenseth is a little over a second behind him. So just kind of in a safe zone there, putting down some laps, waiting for the end of the race. Vince?
Yeah, you know, talking with Mike Ford before the race, he said one of the problems they've had here is that they've not been able to keep up with the car and with the track. He sees what they have at the beginning of the race seems to be okay, but they can't keep it good throughout the course of the race, and he's just not really sure why. They've had a little bit of a handling issue so far earlier today, but I think at this point, guys, they look at where they are, and as we talked about throughout the course of the race, if they can just get a decent finish here, they really like their chances the rest of the way. We haven't seen any of those RCR cars give them any problems, which we thought might be a case earlier too. They haven't got to him yet, but right now I think at 11, even though it's not great, they still got to be fairly satisfied with where they are.
Well, I'll give you an idea just how satisfied they'd be if this would just fold out and walk out of here the way it is. He'd still have the points lead, and I guarantee if you talked to him before the race started, he'd be happy if he was just in 2nd place, close to the lead. So this race still, though, long from over. And up front, it's A.J. Allmendinger. His lead is still 5.3 seconds. A race presented by Burger King. Back here at Dover, as you see, we're working lap 158 of 400, and the race leader is A.J. Allmendinger. He's led 129 so far. We've had 7 different leaders with 8 lead changes. But the big story during the commercial break involves that man right there. A bad week has gone worse. Watch what happened to Clint Boyer.
It started to fall back just a little bit. You can see just how loose he gets coming out of 2. Saves it till right there. A lot of damage to that 33.
Jamie, you've got more?
Well, Clint came on the radio and said, I just got really loose. I hit the wall by myself. And he said he has a fender rub, but Mike Dillon, his spotter, said, man, you look fine. I don't see any damage. Just stay out, stay smooth. We're in the lucky dog position. Let's just keep it here and get back on the lead lap.
That's right. He is 1 lap down right now, although that battle with Reed Sorensen is for the lucky dog position. He is in 20th right now. Jeff Gordon, as you can see, got around Juan Pablo Montoya. They've been going after each other for a few laps. Moved Jeff up to the 9th position.
I think Jeff Gordon's doing exactly what he needs to. He continues to move forward throughout the day. Got a pretty decent car. Still have to make some adjustments if they want to challenge for a win here today.
Well, if you're a Jamie McMurray fan, there's bad news. He just went a lap down. A.J. Allmendinger has put him down. He is running in the 19th position. And here comes Joey Logano closing in on Greg Biffle, as Biffle has been sliding back after this last round of stops. Not happy with his car. This is a battle for 11th on the track.
Yeah, one thing I can see, you talk about teammates and teams, see the Gibbs car is really good here today. As now Logano is going to try to work his way a little bit closer to that top 10, but Kyle Busch up in 5th, Denny Hamlin 6th. Now Joey Logano trying to go to that 11th spot.
Well, one of the things that has been interesting, guys, you realize this is the 5th straight race of the season where we've had a green flag stretch of at least 100 laps. And these guys are racking them up, putting them down. There's A.J. Allmendinger as he is approaching the 13 of Casey Mears, who's running in 29th, already 1 lap down. Let's get an update from pit road. Vince?
Well, there's no doubt A.J. Allmendinger has had the dominating car so far in this race. But right now, more than any other time in this race, he's got a handful. Listen.
The way the rubber's filled up, it's terrible for the rear of our car. Oh, yeah, I'm just hanging on. Back gets real wiggly and the front end taking off on me.
Right here, he's got problems in the front end and the back end. Let's go to the NASCAR Craftsman Tech Garage with Tim Brewer and get an idea how they might be able to help it. Tim?
Thanks, Vince. To get the car in the corner and get it to turn through the center, you might do a little bit of air pressure. But still yet, to get the car forward bite, get it more traction off the corner, you're going to see the guys actually run the track bar down. What we're trying to do here is move the pivot point lower to give the car more rear grip. But still yet, some of those guys, when they're wrecking loose, they want to put this spring rubber in the left rear spring, and that's going to tighten the car up as well. Marty?
All right, thank you, Tim. And as we've been focusing on A.J. Allmendinger, let's update you because Jimmy Johnson has just gotten around Martin Truex to take over the second spot. And there is Jimmy. And he has opened up a 1.5-second margin over Martin. Don't know if Martin's got a problem, but made it look pretty easy. Carl Edwards also trying to get around his teammate, Matt Kenseth. That's for 7th, so move him up.
You know, and something I'm starting to see, that we see the groove is widened out a lot, but some of these guys that are coming forward, I'm seeing them running back down closer to the bottom part of the racetrack. You see it's not nearly as black down there. I think they're trying to get away from that rubber buildup.
Greg Biffle, Juan Pablo Montoya. This is for 11th on the track.
Saw Montoya earlier trying to go really high. Got way out of the groove. I mean, is this something that, Dale, that you as the driver looking for some of that wider racetrack and trying to find grip?
Yeah, you're just trying to find some grip, and as that rubber builds up and it'll start your car chattering across there, you can see there's only a couple of places to go. You can try to go up higher, a little dangerous up there, but some of these others are getting their left side down on the very bottom where there's not as much rubber buildup, and they're starting to make that work. You see, that's where Greg Biffle's starting to run now.
Yeah, Biffle proved your point when he got around Montoya, and here he goes around some lap vehicles. Here comes Kevin Harvick, and we'll see what kind of line he's going to take.
Yeah, he was actually one that I noticed a while ago who had been running up much higher on the racetrack, but has brought his car down and is really moving forward.
Travis Kvapil gets out of the way in the 34. He is 4 laps down right now, and here comes Harvick closing on the 42.
Man, we've seen this team do this all year. Not qualify so great, but work on this car. Kevin Harvick doing a great job of driving the car, just march forward all day long, just like he did last week. Looked like they were going to have a disastrous day, and ended up finishing 5th.
Yeah, and that finish was the first time he had been in the top 5 on the last lap of the race. He has picked up 20 spots so far, and you saw Greg Biffle getting a little loose. Here comes Harvick trying to close again on Montoya.
Yeah, that qualified just a little loose for Greg Biffle. It's a lot loose for a lot of drivers, but just a little for Greg.
It looks like everybody's got their hands full right now with this rubber buildup. You see A.J. Allmendinger now. He's a leader. He's lost a lot of his lead. Look how loose that car is.
Before we finish, I ain't going to last much longer. About 20 more laps. We're not making that. Come on now, you can do it. You're doing fine.
Well, those are lap cars going by.
Hey, pit this time. 4 tires, 1 down track bar.
So he's going to come in because he is. I mean, he's getting eaten up by guys that are 2 and 3 laps down right now. His lap times have dropped off markedly.
Yeah, he's got a little issue right here. He just wants to get another set of tires here.
3,900. They all know you're coming out back. 3,900.
Think about telling the driver, okay, back it down. You're still in good shape instead of making a pit stop here, putting yourself in that position.
Well, when the driver's that adamant, he thinks he's got a problem. He needs to pit. I'm going to make him come on in.
Well, he last pitted on lap 113. Here we are on lap 173, and you want to get an idea how slow
One down
really is.
track bar. 4 tires, 1 down track bar.
You heard the call from the crew as A.J. Allmendinger's coming down.
This won't be too devastating if they can get a round of green flag stops in. He's there, Vince.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, they were trying to encourage him that he still had a 3.5-second lead and to hang in there, but A.J. was having nothing to do with it. He said this car was on ice, and he just could not hold on to it. You heard him talking about the adjustments, 4 tires and 1 down on the track bar, just as Tim Brewer suggested. Well done, Tim.
Well, and yeah, he was a commencing to reckon if he would have stayed out there pretty
Yeah, this
longer.
might even force some of the other leaders to come in since he pitted early. And went out there with those fresh tires.
We've had our 9th lead change as Jimmy Johnson has taken over the lead again. Now, 5 of Johnson's 18 chases wins have come from the #1 starting position, and that's where he started today. And he is back in that slot right now. There is your top 5 here at Dover, our race presented by Burger King.